And our first Mint Mobile hotline question is asking about Avatar 3 being both a movie and a series. Check it out.
Hey, John. I wonder if you guys just saw the news that James Cameron's Avatar 3 might actually get a 9-hour show release as well as a theatrical. I kind of think this is a good compromise, not just for the big blockbusters, but even for movies like The Northman, which was very expensive. It didn't make a lot of money at the box office, but it was critically acclaimed. So maybe these big studios could see something like that and pivot and say, you know what, we'll give them a ton of money to make this movie, and we'll also, in our back of our pockets, have a 10-episode series. You think this is something that theaters can think about doing moving forward? Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for calling that in. So, yeah, there are these whispers and talk going around that maybe what Disney would look at. Because remember, James Gunn recently addressed directly the question of, could they make an Avatar Disney Plus series? And James Cameron said, look, I never say never, but it ain't going to happen anytime soon. It's cost prohibitive. It's all this kind of stuff. So there have been some speculations going around recently. You may have seen them, that maybe what they do is they take Avatar 3 and they put it into theaters, but they also take Avatar 3, re-include any deleted footage they may have from it, and chop it up and release it as a limited series on Disney Plus. There's no way. There's no way. And I'll tell you why there's no way that would happen and why it would be fundamentally dumb for them to do it. It's not fundamentally dumb to think of it. It's not fundamentally dumb to speculate about it, but it would be fundamentally really stupid for Disney to do it. And here's why. Number one, Avatar: The Way of Water ended up costing $400 million to make, making it one of the most expensive films of all time. Now, granted, it paid off, became the third biggest hit in the history of cinema, but still, $400 million. Do you know how much it would cost? Avatar's 3 budget would probably go, let's face it, it's probably going to go up a bit, probably looking at $450 million. Would go from $450 million to probably $900 million. If you suddenly said you had to make a 9-hour version of it, like, that's just ridiculous. So on the one hand, it's incredibly cost prohibitive, but you might say, but John, then they'd be getting a movie and a series. Well, no, they wouldn't, because you'd be doing two things. Number one, you'd be cannibalizing any box office return. Because if you think a third Avatar movie would join the $2 billion club, if there's also just going to be on Disney Plus as a series, you're cannibalizing your own box office revenue. You're going to just eat away. You're probably going to lose $1 billion, maybe a little bit less than $1 billion, but you'll be cannibalizing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars gone. On top of that, let's say you took Avatar 3, you added a whole bunch of extra stuff, and then you chopped it up into a 9-part, 9-hour Disney Plus series. All right. What you're going to be left with is a series filled with 7 episodes of fluff, or a movie in theaters that feels outrageously incomplete. You cannot make a full, complete, beginning, middle, and end satisfactory story that both has a 3-hour version and a 9-hour version. There's just no doing that. That you just can't do it. So besides the fact that it would be insanely cost prohibitive, because you're talking about spending minimum probably $800-900 million to do it. Secondly, you'd be cannibalizing, the two entities would be cannibalizing each other. And number 3, one of them is going to feel absolutely unnecessary, because you're either going to have a series that's more than half of its episode or pointless fluff, or a movie that feels radically incomplete. I just don't see, Rob, maybe you do, and you can educate us here. I see no potential here. I see no possible upside. There is just no good reason to do something like this. How do you see it?
I was talking to, around the time of the release of Avatar 2, a very high-ranking person at 20th Century Studios that was telling me they don't even know if Avatar 3 can make its 2024 holiday release date because of how laborious it is to do the effects, because every shot's an effect shot and every shot's rendered. I mean, even though the render times have speeded up, I don't even think it would be physically possible to finish a 9-hour version of Avatar it would take years, because even if you think about it, I mean, they're rendering these shots at a very high resolution, and it takes like a day to do a shot. And if a movie has 4,000 shots, and these movies are long, they're already 3 hours long. So I don't even think it would take years to do a Avatar 3 version. And like you said, 900 million, I think that's on the conservative side. I think it costs a lot more than that. It can't be done. Then I don't think there's any impetus to do it either. I mean, why would you? I understand the idea that maybe you'd want to get a series out of it, but the way these movies are made, I don't see it, that's even a possibility. Just from a production standpoint, I don't think it can be done. I mean, it could be done if you had a limitless amount of time and a limitless amount of money, but not 9 hours.
Yeah, I just don't see how it could possibly be a thing or be done. It's just, and the example that our caller brought up is an interesting one, because they use the Northman as an example, and I think that's a good one but the Northman presents a thing that maybe you should have done as a series anyway, but the Northman was like 2-something hours. You can't suddenly make that into a series, and doubling its budget is not going to solve the problem that it underperformed at the box. By the way, Northman is a fabulous movie. If you haven't seen it, you should. But it underperformed at the box office.
I would say the closest thing that's analogous to it is Quentin Tarantino redoing The Hateful Eight in 4 episodes, because then he was able to add things, and but you're not dealing with a movie whose every single shot is a visual effect that has to be, created. And there's no way around that. And there is costs associated with every shot, and there's render times. It's for a movie like this, 9 hours of Avatar 3 is insane. You could never do it.
I love your comparison of Hateful Eight, because therein lies some possibility, right? Because if you were to say, because let's face it, James Cameron is not going to edit down his creation. So Avatar 3 is probably going to be over 3 hours, right? Yeah. I think that's safe to say. So if the question was, could they take Avatar 3 as a 3 hour plus movie, add in 35 minutes of additional deleted footage, and chop that into a 4-part miniseries that then plays on Disney Plus, that enters into a much bigger realm of possibility. It doesn't, though, Rob, solve the problem of you'd be cannibalizing your own success, unless what they did was give Avatar 3 its full theatrical run, period, and then instead of releasing it on Disney Plus as a single movie, they release it as a 4-part thing with additional bonus features to stretch it out to 4 hours. I still don't think that's the smartest thing to do, but it certainly becomes a lot more possible. What do you think?
Yeah, it could, but you're still running into the incredible amount of time to do these effect shots.
Yep. All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? There's whispers going around that maybe they take Avatar 3 both as a 3-hour movie and a 9-hour series. Is there a way you can possibly see that happening that maybe we're not thinking of right now? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. If saving more and spending less is one of your top goals for 2023, why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for your phone bill? Switching to Mint Mobile is the easiest way to save this year. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. You guys know I made the switch over to Mint Mobile a while ago. The process couldn't have been easier, and I can't believe that I am spending less than a third of what I was spending on one of the other major carriers before. By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes the significant savings on to you. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily in minutes with eSIM. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door free, go to mintmobile.com mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea.